visionary, an entrepreneur, a business owner. You want to make money from your passion and create the freedom that you've dreamed of. But it's slow. The income is slow, the impact is slow, and the freedom is slow. And here's the kicker. You've actually never been busier. You're working longer than ever, burning through daylight, and your family have forgotten who you are. You're tired and frustrated and you can't even sleep well at night. The business just feels so heavy, and all you ever wanted to do was just make the money you want to make doing the things that you want to do. And that's where I come in. Hi, if we haven't met yet, my name is Dr. Storme, and I'm the host of the Business Acceleration Podcast, where we shift your business from heavy to light, time poor to time abundant, and from income lack to income growth. We're going to achieve it together with my 20 years experience as a psychologist, helping people just like you to break through their barriers. And we're going to throw in a little of the woo as well. So thank you so much for pushing play today. Let's begin. Good morning. Happy Saturday, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Business Acceleration Podcast. I am so pleased that you're here today because I'm kind of doing a little bit of a happy dance over here. Everything is just working out so well, and it's really reminding me of that saying that we have in law of attraction, which is everything is always working out for me. And that's exactly what's happened. As you know, if you've been listening to the podcast for a little while now, you'll know that I was in launch, now in post-launch. And would you believe that slap bang in the middle of a COVID virus, managed to have my biggest launch ever. And I think part of that was because I was able to step into that space of really serving. And this is something I wanted to talk with you about today because I just feel like there's a lot of mixed emotion around people in the online space at the moment and their marketing and their selling. And so some people are saying, oh, I'm not so sure if it's the right time for me to be selling things. And oh, I'm not so sure if it's a case of me perhaps taking advantage of the situation, and I don't want to be misread or misinterpreted by the community. But what my experience is that by stepping into my more spiritual side and by really beginning to embrace that, what happened was more people were drawn to listening to the podcast. More people were interacting with me in private messages. More people were connecting with me in different ways. And that made me want to connect with them even more too. And what I realized was that because I also had some hesitation for a little while there, I was also feeling a bit like, what's this going to look like? But as soon as I put my big toe in the water and I stepped into that space of really helping, and I mean genuinely helping. So many people say, oh, I got into coaching to help people, or I got into psychology to help people. And this is a time that people need your help. And so many of you are hiding because you're scared of being judged by your peers or judged by your colleagues. And I just think when you get into that headspace, what's happening there is you're making things about yourself and you're losing sight of the big picture. If you allow that blindfold to come off, what you're going to be able to see is that now more than ever, there's an increase in the number of people that are hungry for help. They're stuck in their homes. They can't get outside. They're not going to work anymore. There's kids driving them crazy. There's partners driving them crazy. They need an outlet, and they need to know that somebody is out there in the universe that can listen, provide that safe space to allow them to share their thoughts, their feelings, and perhaps even make progress on some challenge or project or issue that they've been wanting to work on for a little while. So if you're a helper, if you call yourself a helper, and now you're finding that you're freaking out and you're hiding in the corner because of fear of judgment from others, I say, let's get out of your own way and get back into the energy of serving. All right. Now, when I talk about self-care, it's never really been a area that has lit me up. It's just not really my thing. For me, I'm all about grounding. How can I ground myself? And I use spiritual practices to help me ground and help me anchor into my purpose. I always want to be setting an intention for myself and operating from highest intention and leading with love and doing those kinds of things. But self-care to me is just something that I've never really resonated with. I understand it's so important and we do have to talk about it, but yeah, it just doesn't turn me on. It's not something that really lights me up. However, what's happened this week is I was sitting down the other night and I had an experience, as those of you who are on my email list already know about, so I won't go into it again. If you're not on the email list, let me know and I'll add you. But I had a situation with my dog this week that caused me to reflect on connecting, number one, and as a result of reflecting on connecting, I was then pulled towards the area of providing self-care strategies that were spiritually based for my audience. And that's not something I've really stepped into too much. And so what happened was I was sitting there at the table and I was thinking to myself, I wonder what my audience really needs to hear from me right now. And I was trying to put myself in your shoes and I was thinking, okay, let me think back to all the conversations I've had this week with people. What has been the theme? And the theme has been there's been quite a disruption to routine. And with psychology, for example, everybody's now, scrambling to get their service online. Well, not everyone, but lots of people are trying to scramble to get their service online. And as a result of that, some people have actually started delivering on online services, my business included. We're 100% online now. And what they're experiencing is that delivering online counseling is a lot more taxing on them energy-wise than doing face-to-face sessions. And now they're sort of thinking, what am I going to do? A lot of the people that I've been talking to, psychologists that I've been talking to, are now in a position where they can't even charge fees. They've got to do the, rebated sessions, which is nothing, like it's not even covering the cost of the rent on their premises, for example, and things like that. And so now they're finding themselves in a position where they've got to see, 2 or more times the amount of clients that they were to barely break even. And some of them are already starting to feel the effects of burnout. And I feel for them. I think, oh my gosh, how can I help these people? What can I do? And so I came up with the idea of creating I called it a spiritual self-care plan, but all I've done is I just put something together. It only took me, honestly, guys, it only took me a couple of minutes to do. But I will put a link in it to the show notes for you. So if you don't have a copy already, you can grab one. But all I did was I sat there and I closed my eyes and I say this, where is it? I'm just trying to look for it for you so that you can hear it. Wait 1 second. Okay, so got it. So this is, I did not write this. This was written by another lady called Rebecca Campbell, but I just loved it. And now it's become a morning affirmation for me. And it's only 2 sentences and I'll share it with you. And so this is what I said before I wrote the self-care plan. I just allowed myself to sit down nice and quietly, and then I said, I request the grace of the universe to work through me tonight so that I can serve the world just by being me. Let my light shine as bright as the universe sees fit and touch the hearts of those who need it most. Okay, so that's all I said, just those 2 sentences. And then I opened up, of course, Canva. And I was looking for, what do I want to do? Is it going to be an infographic? Is it going to be a flyer? Anyway, I ended up being called to do a flyer. And what I did was I just allowed myself to be open to receiving inspiration about what my audience really needed to hear. So this is what I've put on the plan. First of all, the instructions were really just to create a space for yourself to work through some of these prompts and ideas and to create your own plan. and grab your journal and a pen, light a candle if you like, and just settle into the moment and allow yourself to do this inner work, because your business and your practice success come from the inside out. So the first little set of prompts here I had was this: thinking about online appointments. How can you structure sessions in your diary in a way that would make them easier and lighter for you to manage? All right, thinking about online appointments. How can you structure sessions in your diary in a way that would make them easier for you and lighter for you to manage? For example, maybe you create a buffer time between appointments. And if you wanted to create a buffer time in between your appointments so that you could refresh and recharge, how long could that time be? And what could you use that time for? The second set of prompts that I shared was recall a time in your life where you felt really lit up, in flow and energized. Allow yourself to go back to that feeling and sit with it. Okay, just really allow yourself to experience in your body, in your mind. I want you to envision it. I want you to really feel it in every cell. That amazing feeling of being in flow, where everything just comes so easily, where you just feel so energized. You could work for 12 hours, not get up and get a cup of coffee or something, and you would feel like it had only been 5 minutes because you're just so in that flow state. And I want you to think, what would be the easiest way for you now to be able to generate that feeling on demand? How would you now be able to generate that flow state for yourself on demand? Okay, so if you get stuck with that, some ideas. I really love a combination of things. So I love a good gratitude rampage. That works really well for me because it raises my vibration and it raises my energy. But more so than a gratitude rampage, a higher vibration is the vibration of appreciation. So maybe try and switch out gratitude for appreciation and see how you feel after that. Another thing that you could try is listening to music that makes you want to get up and dance. All right. So maybe go back through your playlist and have a little bit of a look and see what you can find. And the next lot of prompts, the third lot of prompts, who do you need to be right now in order to have the practice or coaching business that you really want? So this is about identity, okay? How does that version of you manage her or his time? How can you begin now to step into that version of yourself? So here what we're doing is really thinking about, okay, who do I need to be? Who is that version of me that's able to really see a bunch of clients, do it with ease, grace, and flow, feel lit up, feel energized, know she can cultivate that energy when she's feeling tired, know how she needs to nourish herself when she's feeling tired so that she can recharge again. How is that version of her managing her time? And what's one action step that you can take from what she's doing and introduce into your schedule now? Introduce it into your daily life, yeah? And this is what we mean by quantum jumping. We're really just taking one step from, you in the alternate universe over there that's like crushing it. And we're just trying to close that gap. And we just do it one step at a time with one action at a time. So if you wanted to take this further, go for it. You could do, what are 3 things she's doing? Well, maybe she's setting her alarm for 10 minutes earlier than she needs to, so that instead of flying out of bed in a mad panic and rush because she's got to get ready for her 8:30 appointment, maybe she sets the alarm for 10 minutes before she normally does, so that she's got 10 minutes to say to herself, oh, I don't have to get up. I'm just going to appreciate the comfort of being in bed. I'm going to set the tone for the day. What are some things I'm grateful for? I'm so thankful for my bread. I really appreciate this doona. I really appreciate these 5 minutes more that I've got to stay in bed. I really appreciate knowing that I've given myself an opportunity to start the day in a way that feels really good for me, where I'm kind of getting to take my time. Okay, something like that. The fourth set of prompts that I wrote out was, how can you identify 3 guiding principles for your practice right now? What would they be? Write them down, and then allow yourself space to come back and review them over coming days, weeks, and months. So a simple way to identify 3 guiding principles for your practice is kind of like when we're working with our clients and we're encouraging them to look at values for their life. You know, we break their life into different areas, like maybe we have health, work, family, education, finances, things like that. So you can do something similar for your practice, but because you're all spiritual entrepreneurs, you're spiritually inclined private practice owners and spiritually inclined coaches, why not try and anchor into 3 guiding principles for your business that are grounded in spirituality, okay? So have a think about what they could be. Maybe, you want to have a principle of, feeling grateful and having gratitude for things. Maybe you want to have a guiding principle around looking after yourself first, filling your own cup first, so that you're able to be of highest service to others at all times, right? You have a think about it. And then, I just finished off this, infographic here, off this flyer here, by saying, is there something else that you could do to turn those principles into action steps for your practice? How will you feel once you've become anchoring more deeply into your purpose when you're at work? And what difference do you think you're feeling like this now could make to how you feel about your work? And what will you commit to doing differently now moving forward? So anyway, you can grab it in the show notes, but I put that all together and it took me about 5 minutes, and it just felt so good to put together. And anyway, I saved it as a PNG because I wanted to share it on my social media. So that's what I did. And I put it on my profile, I put it on my work page, I put it in my group, then I shared it with a couple of other groups. And holy dooly, it got so many shares and so much engagement. And the other thing that was really, really interesting about it too was, in psychology, I guess, and in allied health in Australia, I'm still trying to work on breaking that bit of a glass ceiling when it comes to spiritual things. And it's abundantly evident to me that there's still work for me to do in this area, because while I'm trying my best to bring this more into the mainstream for my clients and for my colleagues, there's clearly still some hesitation from colleagues around being more visible in the spiritual space. And that was evident when what happened was I got inundated with private messages from people who didn't want to put a comment on the post publicly, but because of their own fears of, I guess, being judged by our colleagues for stepping into that space, which is understandable. I get that. But the private messages were all around, thank you, this is exactly what I needed. I've downloaded it. Can I share it in my network? Can I email it out to my list? And I've just said, yes, of course you can, go for it. And I guess what it's really highlighted to me is that when I get out of my own way and I really think about what is going to resonate with you guys and my audience, and I allow myself to receive inspiration and I allow myself to take action that's aligned with providing you with what you need, it resonates, it lands for you. And then that energizes me and that gets me into flow state and makes me feel like, yes, you're on the right track. And so the reason that I'm sharing this with you is because I understand a lot of you are getting stuck in your own way at the moment and you're perhaps overthinking things. But guys, you are helpers. And there are people out there that need your help. I don't know how many of you have had conversations online with clients this week, but for those of you who are already in that space now, I'm going to bet that nearly all of you have had at least one conversation this week with a client who has said, thank you so much for still delivering this session by phone or online because, I'm at home, I'm alone, I have no contact. You're it for this week. That 1 hour with you is somebody's whole entire social contact for the week for some people at the moment. And so you absolutely have to show up. They're wanting to hear from you. They're needing to hear from you. This is what you do. So, the stage is yours. You have a very captive audience right now with everybody being at home. Everyone's on social media to the extent that, Netflix, Stan, all those have dropped down to 3G so that, we've all got more access to internet. Optus is stepping their service down as well so that more of us can access the internet. You have a captive audience that are there on their devices waiting for you to pop up in their feed and support them and show them that you're there for them and that you're here and you have what they need and you're going to work it out with them. Okay, you're going to meet them in that space. You're going to work it out with them, and you're just going to be genuine and you're going to be authentic and you're going to be open and honest and you're going to say, from the heart, guys, I don't know what this is going to look like, but I'm here with you and I'm going to help you and I'm going to help you get through it and we're going to do this together and you're not alone. And maybe you're going to innovate now. Maybe now is your time to create something new. Maybe it's going to be a new model of service delivery. Maybe it's going to be a whole new service. Maybe you're going to start a Facebook group for your clients. Maybe you're going to start a membership group for your clients. Maybe you're actually going to start emailing your clients every Monday like you promised you would 2 years ago, but never had the time to do. Maybe you're going to start really reaching out and connecting with your audience because you have the time to do it now. Okay? This is a time for connection. It's feeling like there's a lot of isolation because the word isolation is being used a lot at the moment. All you have to do is jump on Google keywords and you see it's like ranking as one of the top 10 words, isolation. But there's isolation and then there's connection. And I don't know about you, but in some ways I've never felt more connected to people. I'm more alone than I was, but I've never felt more connected. I'm making more of an effort to connect with loved ones, with family, with you guys, with my audience, with my coaching clients, with my site clients, with my supervision clients. I have the headspace to be able to do it now. And the depth of these conversations is just going to a whole new level that maybe never would have experienced if we're still doing the face-to-face stuff. There's a deeper level of appreciation now for having that ability to connect with people. And this is absolutely your time to step into that space and show people that you're here. If I can do a self-care flyer and I'm not a self-care person and there's such a demand for it, okay, all right, it was a spiritual self-care flyer, as you know, not like a regular one. But what I'm saying is your numbers are going to go up with your engagement at the moment because there are more people online waiting for you to show up. You're going to get more people watching your Instagram stories, more people watching your Facebook lives, more people interacting with your posts, more people interacting with your business page, more people subscribing to your email list. Everything's going to go up now. All right, that means there's a demand. You're the supply. You have to meet that demand. If more people are starting to watch your stuff and like it, heart it, follow it, everything, that's telling you they want more. So now's the time for you to not be vanilla. You need to be bold and walk with purpose. Be bold in what you want to get out there so you do not get lost. People need you right now and they need to see you and find you. And they can't do that if you're hiding in the corner because you're scared of your colleagues judging you. All right. There are lots of ways that you can connect with me as well. And you know that you can just head over to the website, brooklynstorme.com. You can catch me on Facebook. That's where I hang out. But if you ever need anything, I'm here for you as well. All right, guys, if you want a copy of the spiritual self-care plan, you can download a copy from the show notes. And if you're not on the email list and you'd like to be, you're most welcome. And I will look forward to talking to you next Saturday. Have a beautiful night, everybody. Bye. Thank you so much for listening today. I really hope that you enjoyed it and got a lot of value from it. Help me help others by sharing this podcast. And if you feel called to leave a review on Apple Podcasts, remember to let me know so that I can send you a very special thank you gift. Now go and build your dream business, and I will see you next time. Bye.